Talk to yourself like this for just 3 days. Most people lose the battle of life not because they lack talent, resources, or opportunity, but because they lose the battle in their own minds before they even step into the arena. For the next 3 days, I challenge you to do something radical, not to hustle harder, not to work longer, but to change the conversation happening inside your head, because the most powerful voice in your life is not your parents, not your boss, not your critics. It's yours. What you say to yourself shapes what you believe, and what you believe determines how you live. If you talk to yourself with purpose, with vision, with power for just 3 days, your habits will shift, your confidence will rise, and your results will start to obey your words. Let's flip the script. Let's rewire the narrative. Let's talk to ourselves like the future we're building depends on it, because it does. Speak to your future, not your failure. Your words are blueprints for your destiny. Every time you open your mouth, you're either building a bridge to your future or digging a deeper grave for your past, and most people don't even realize it. They speak from their pain, their doubt, and their history, repeating the same tired stories that keep them trapped in cycles they desperately want to break. But if you want to shift your life, the shift doesn't start in your bank account or in your relationships. It starts in your language. You've got to speak to your future, not your failure. Your words have the power to create, and right now, many people are using that power to build prisons instead of palaces. They say things like, I never get it right, or nothing good ever happens to me, or I guess this is just how life is. Those aren't just complaints, they're confessions, and every confession becomes a construction plan. You are literally giving your future instructions on how to treat you. The real problem is, we've been trained to narrate our lives based on what we've been through, not where we're going. You talk about your trauma, you talk about your mistakes, you talk about what went wrong, but when was the last time you prophesied over your own life? When was the last time you opened your mouth and said something that was bigger than what you're currently experiencing? Let me make it plain. If your language always matches your limitations, then don't be surprised when your life does too. You've got to decide that your words will serve your vision, not your version of reality, because reality is temporary, but vision is eternal, and I know someone's thinking, but I don't feel powerful. I don't feel successful. I don't feel worthy. Good. That's exactly when you need to open your mouth the most. You don't speak based on how you feel. You speak based on what you want to become. You talk your way up. That's what leaders do. That's what winners do. They don't wait for the world to affirm them. They affirm themselves first. They look at the storm and say, I am peace. They look at lack and say, I am abundance. They look at failure and say, I am still chosen, because they understand that their words are not a reaction to what they see. Their words are a declaration of what they expect. Now, this is not some feel-good positivity game. This is spiritual architecture. When you speak, you are laying foundations, and you will either live in what you built or be buried by it. So the next time you catch yourself saying something rooted in failure, stop. Pause, reframe. Don't say, I always mess things up. Say, I'm learning how to win at the next level. Don't say, I'm broke. Say, I'm building wealth and managing growth. Don't say, nothing ever works out for me. Say, everything is working for my good, even when I don't understand it yet. It's not lying, it's leadership. It's not pretending, it's positioning, and here's the real secret. Your mind listens to your mouth. You can read all the books, attend all the seminars, and watch all the motivational videos you want. But if your own voice contradicts what you're feeding your brain, nothing will change. You've got to speak to your future out loud, so your doubts can hear it and die, so your fear knows it's no longer in charge, so your destiny knows it has a home in you, because you can't just think your way into greatness. You've got to talk your way there. You've got to declare who you are before you see the evidence. And if you do it consistently, day after day, even when it feels foolish, you'll start to notice a shift, small at first, quiet, but powerful. Your thoughts will rise, your energy will shift, your actions will align, because your words are the thermostat for your life. They set the temperature, and Your behavior follows, so here's the challenge. For the next 3 days, stop reporting your pain and start announcing your potential. Every time you feel like saying something that limits you, stop and flip it. Say the opposite. Say what your future needs to hear, and watch what happens. You won't even need a year. Give this just 3 days of focused, intentional speaking, and the atmosphere around you will start to change, not because life suddenly got easier, but because you got louder than your fear. You got bold about your breakthrough. You stopped negotiating with your history and started building your destiny. That's the power of speaking to your future. That's the key to unlocking everything you've been waiting for. It doesn't start in your situation. It starts in your sentence. So open your mouth and give your future some instructions. Stop reporting your reality. Start declaring your royalty. The majority of people walk through life narrating it like a news reporter stuck in a storm, constantly giving updates on the chaos around them, announcing every hardship, magnifying every obstacle, and rehearsing every limitation. They say things like, "This is just how life is," or "People like me don't get ahead," or "I guess I'll never catch a break." That's called reporting your reality. But here's the truth: reality doesn't need another reporter. What it needs is a ruler, someone who understands that while you may be in a storm, the storm is not in you. Someone who refuses to let the facts of today drown the faith in their future. That someone must be you. And if you want to shift the direction of your life, you've got to stop reporting your current circumstances and start declaring your royalty. Because you were never meant to survive your situation. You were designed to rule over it. Royalty doesn't talk like victims. Royalty doesn't apologize for expecting abundance. Royalty doesn't describe life from the dirt, it speaks from the throne. That doesn't mean you ignore your problems, it means you refuse to be defined by them. When a king walks through a kingdom in ruins, he doesn't narrate the destruction. He declares the rebuilding. He doesn't panic over what's broken. He commands restoration. And that's exactly the mindset you need to carry into your daily life. You don't need to echo everything that's happening around you. You need to interrupt it with words that carry authority, vision, and purpose. Here's the problem: most people think their job is to describe life. But champions understand that their words decide life. Your language is a throne, and you either sit on it or surrender it. Every time you say, "I can't," "I'm stuck," or "it's too late," you're abdicating your crown. You're laying down your power and letting life run you instead of ruling from the inside out. And let me tell you something: life only gives you what you're willing to claim. If you keep narrating struggle, guess what? More struggle will show up. But if you start declaring victory, even in the valley, your words will begin to clear a path for your breakthrough. Why? Because words don't just reflect what's real, they release what's possible. Royalty doesn't speak based on what they see, they speak based on who they are. And when you begin to see yourself as royalty, something inside of you changes. You stop entertaining conversations that shrink you. You stop tolerating environments that dishonor your value. You stop making agreements with small thinking, because royalty doesn't chase validation. It commands alignment. That means you don't have to beg life to work out. You command it to work for you. You speak with the tone of someone who knows they have authority. You walk like someone who knows they've been crowned with purpose. You lead your day, your mind, your emotions, your goals, not the other way around. But here's the catch: you can't just call yourself royalty once and expect transformation. This isn't about hype, it's about habit. You have to practice declaring who you are. Every morning before the world gives you its opinion, you need to remind yourself of your identity. Not your job title, not your bank balance, not your past mistakes. Your identity: you're chosen, you're called, you're equipped, you're worthy, you are royalty. By design, not by decision. And once you start speaking from that place, the world begins to respond differently. Not because the world changed, but because you did. Let me get practical with you. The next time you're tempted to talk about how bad it is, stop, take a breath, say something regal instead, not because you're pretending, but because you're positioning. Instead of saying, I'm overwhelmed, say, I'm mastering my next level. Instead of saying, I'm tired of struggling, say, I'm stepping into ease and overflow. Instead of saying, I'm so behind, say, I'm exactly where I need to be for what's coming next. It may feel unnatural at first. That's okay. You've spent years talking like a reporter. It's going to take a few days to train your mouth to speak like royalty. But once you do, once you get into the rhythm of reigning with your words, your reality will begin to reflect your royalty, not the other way around. So for the next 3 days, I dare you to declare your royalty every time your mind wants to report your struggle. You can either rehearse what's wrong or you can reinforce what's right. You can either amplify your anxiety or activate your authority. But you can't do both. Choose your words like your future depends on it, because it does. Speak like someone who knows they're backed by purpose. Think like someone who knows their crown isn't made of gold, it's made of identity. And walk like someone who knows their reality doesn't define them, their royalty recreates it. You are not the sum of your struggles, you are not the echo of your past, you are the architect of what's next. So don't just report what's going on, declare what's coming. Royalty doesn't describe the present. It speaks to the future and expects everything around it to rise. And the moment you start living like that, talking like that, walking like that, you won't just feel powerful. You'll become unstoppable. You don't need a miracle, you need a mindset shift in your mouth. We live in a culture where people are constantly waiting for a miracle, waiting for the big break, the lucky moment, the divine rescue from the chaos of their circumstances. They say things like, if only I could catch a break, or if God would just fix this, or maybe someday my time will come. But let me tell you something bold and maybe even uncomfortable. You don't need a miracle, you need a mindset shift in your mouth. The breakthrough you're waiting for is actually waiting on you to speak differently, not wish differently, not pray harder, not grind longer. Just change what you say, because your words are not just sounds, they are signals to your brain, your body, your habits, and even your future. Let's be honest, too many people are praying for change while prophesying the same. You say you want to get out of the cycle, yet every word that leaves your mouth reinforces the cycle. You want peace, but you keep saying, my life is always so chaotic. You want abundance, but you say, I can't afford that. You want confidence, but you declare, I'm just not good at this. That's not a miracle. Problem, that's a mouth problem, and here's what most people don't understand. Your mouth is the front line of your mindset. You can read every self-help book and listen to every motivational podcast, but if your mouth is still rooted in lack, in fear, in doubt, then your life will keep producing what your lips are planting, because your mouth is a seed dispenser and your mindset is the soil. See, a lot of people think mindset is something private, silent, internal, but true mindset is not complete until it's spoken, because what you say reveals what you believe. Your language exposes your level. You cannot have a wealthy mindset and a poor mouth. You cannot have a growth mindset and a shrinking vocabulary. You cannot walk in power and speak like a victim. You can't say things like, I'm just not good at business, or people like me don't succeed, and expect to manifest success. Your results are simply a reflection of the language you've been loyal to, so if you want to elevate your life, you have to upgrade your vocabulary, not just in public and private, not just when people are listening, but when you're talking to yourself. Because here's the truth, the most important conversations you have are the ones no one hears. It's what you say to yourself when you're tired, when you failed, when no one is clapping for you. That's where the war is won or lost, not on the outside, but in the inner courtroom of your own mind, and your mouth is the lawyer. You either make a case for your future or you sabotage your potential. And the scariest thing, most people don't even realize they're speaking curses over their life in the form of casual conversation. I always mess things up. I can't trust anyone. I'm not smart enough. These aren't just words. These are life sentences. And the more you repeat them, the more your brain believes them, and the more your behavior bends to fit them. But here's the good news. The mouth that built the prison is the same mouth that holds the key. You don't need a lightning bolt. You don't need someone to rescue you. You just need to start telling a different story. You need to interrupt the language pattern that has kept you bound and replace it with declarations that align with your purpose. This isn't fake. This isn't hype. This is how transformation works. The brain rewires itself based on repetition. Your life follows your language. So when you start consistently speaking words that reflect where you want to go instead of where you've been, things begin to shift. Not because the world changes instantly, but because you do. This is why the shift in your mouth is so crucial. You don't just speak for motivation, you speak for reprogramming. You speak so your subconscious gets new instructions. You speak so your nervous system stops bracing for failure and starts preparing for success. You speak so your emotions fall in line with your expectations. And the beautiful part, you don't have to be perfect at it. You just have to be intentional. Every time a limiting belief shows up in your speech, flip it. Every time you hear yourself saying something small, cancel it and replace it with something big. Make it a habit. Make it a new rhythm. Because consistency in new language creates consistency in new results. For the next 3 days, I challenge you to monitor your mouth like your life depends on it. Because it does. Catch every word. Listen to yourself like a coach. If you wouldn't let someone speak it over your child or your best friend, don't let yourself speak it over you. Replace, reframe, and rewire. Say things like, I am ready for this challenge. I attract opportunities because I'm aligned with my purpose. I may not know it all, but I learn fast and I lead strong. Watch how your energy changes. Watch how people respond to you differently. Watch how solutions start showing up where there used to be silence. That's not magic. That's alignment. That's the power of shifting your mindset starting with your mouth. Remember this, your life is not waiting for a miracle. It's waiting for your mouth to get in agreement with your mission. When that happens, you'll stop looking for signs and start becoming one. You'll stop asking for permission and start commanding transformation. The moment your mouth gets in sync with your calling, the miracle is you. Talk like you're already there and watch the world move to meet you. Most people are waiting for results before they change how they speak. They want to see the breakthrough before they sound like they believe in one. They think they need the promotion, the platform, the income, or the recognition before they're allowed to speak with confidence, clarity, or conviction. But that's not how transformation works. That's not how success shows up. You don't talk like you've arrived after you get there. You talk like you've arrived until you get there, because your words are not just commentary. They're a compass. They don't reflect where you are. They direct where you're going. So let me make it plain. You have to talk like you're already there and watch the world move to meet you. Life doesn't respond to the voice of the desperate. It responds to the voice of the decided. And when your language becomes a reflection of the destination instead of the detour, things start shifting in your favor. It's easy to sound confident when everything's going right. Anyone can speak powerfully when they've already won. But the real shift, the one that changes your life, happens when you speak like a champion before you have the crown, when you carry yourself like someone who belongs at the top, even when you're still climbing from the bottom. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. That's not faking it. That's faithing it. Because the words you use are constantly sending signals to your subconscious mind, to the people around you, to the opportunities waiting to be activated by your belief. If you speak like you're uncertain, hesitant, or second, guessing your worth, then you give the world permission to treat you the same. But when you speak like someone who knows they're destined, someone who's decided there's no turning back, the world can't help but start taking you seriously. You've got to understand something powerful. People, doors, resources, and opportunities respond to how you carry yourself, and how you carry yourself is driven by how you talk to yourself. Every time you speak, you're either shrinking to match your circumstances or rising to meet your calling. And the reason some people stay stuck year after year isn't because they lack potential. It's because they've never upgraded their language to match their vision. They still talk like someone who's waiting for permission. Still talk like someone who's unsure if they belong. Still talk like someone who's trying to make it instead of someone who's already claimed it. But here's the truth: the version of you that lives at the next level, the version walking in purpose, leading with confidence, operating in overflow, doesn't talk like the version of you who's stuck. So if you want to grow, you have to speak from the future, not the frustration. That means you stop saying things like, I hope it works out, and start saying, it's already working in my favor. You stop saying, I'm just figuring things out, and start saying, I'm already building momentum. You stop saying, I'm trying to become, and start saying, I am becoming. It may feel awkward at first. It may feel like you're lying to yourself, but what you're actually doing is pulling your current reality up to meet your divine identity. You're stretching your mouth to match your mission. And just like a thermostat sets the temperature of a room, your voice sets the tone of your life. The more you speak like you belong where you're headed, the faster everything around you adjusts to make space for your arrival. Understand this: your words don't wait for proof, they produce it. When you speak with certainty, doors open that don't open for the timid. When you declare your value, people treat you accordingly. When you talk like the leader, the expert, the creator, the visionary you are becoming, your environment starts aligning with your energy. You don't need to manipulate people or force outcomes. Just carry the language of someone who knows where they're going, and the right people, places, and opportunities will be drawn to you. Why? Because confidence is magnetic, conviction is contagious, and clarity creates momentum. And all three start in your mouth. Now let's be real. Talking like you're already there isn't always easy, especially when your current situation looks nothing like the future you're declaring, especially when you're facing setbacks, losses, confusion, or delays. But that's exactly when it matters most, because anyone can talk big when they're winning, but legacy, builders, world changers, destiny, walkers, they talk big when it's quiet. They talk big when no one's clapping. They talk big when the results haven't shown up yet, because they understand that their voice is not just commentary, it's creation. They know that if they keep speaking like they're already there, eventually, everything around them will line up. So what does that look like in practical terms? It means every morning you speak from your future, not your fears. You declare what's coming, not just what's currently here. You say things like, I'm operating at my highest level, even when you're just getting started. You say, I attract aligned opportunities, even when things feel slow. You say, I'm built for this, even when the pressure feels overwhelming, because those words aren't just positive affirmations. They're mental and spiritual positioning statements. They anchor your mind in what's possible and reprogram your perspective to keep showing up with power. Talking like you're already there also changes how you respond to failure, because when you're grounded in your future identity, setbacks don't define you, they refine you. You stop saying, maybe I'm not cut out for this, and start saying, this challenge is shaping me for where I'm going. You stop saying, I failed again, and start saying, I just got one step closer. Because your identity is not tied to the moment, it's tied to the mission. And once your language reflects that, failure loses its sting. It becomes feedback, not a final verdict. So for the next 3 days, I challenge you to speak only from your destination, not your detour. Pretend the future version of you, the one who already made it, who already overcame, who already walked into overflow, was sitting right next to you. How would they speak? How would they respond to challenges? What would they declare over their life, their business, their purpose, their relationships? Now be that voice. Speak for them. Speak as them. Because the faster you adopt their language, the faster you become their reality. Remember this: the world is listening to your voice to figure out how to treat you. Your environment is waiting for instructions, so don't mumble like you're unsure. Don't whisper like you're waiting. Don't stutter like you need permission. Speak with the tone of arrival. Walk with the sound of certainty, move with the voice of victory, because once you talk like you're already there, everything around you will begin to rise to meet the version of you that finally believes it. Every word you speak is either building your future or bankrupting it. Your life is not shaped by your conditions, it's shaped by your confessions and the raw material of your destiny. It's not money, connections, or even talent. It's your words. Every word you speak is a deposit or a withdrawal. Every sentence you repeat is either compounding interest in your future or compounding debt in your doubt. Whether you realize it or not, you are always speaking yourself into a future, either a future you want or one you fear. And the scary part is, most people bankrupt their destiny with casual language. They bleed out opportunity with powerless phrases. They sabotage success with subtle self-doubt. But the truth remains, every word you speak is either building your future or bankrupting it. There is no neutral ground. Your mouth is either constructing a life or quietly collapsing it. Think about it. Your words are the architects of your behavior. You don't act based on facts. You act based on what you say to yourself about those facts. Two people can face the same situation. One will rise and one will retreat. The difference, what they said to themselves about the obstacle. One said, "This is preparing me." The other said, "This is too much for me." One built, the other broke. One moved forward, the other folded. Same reality, different language, different future. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you say. You don't become what you wish. You become what you repeat. So if you want to change your life, stop managing your circumstances and start mastering your confessions, because that's the blueprint that holds everything together. Most people are careless with their words. They speak as if language has no consequences. They say, "I'm just being real," or "I'm just venting," or "It's just how I feel right now." But realness without responsibility is recklessness. Venting without vision is verbal vandalism, and feelings without filter can turn your mouth into a weapon of mass destruction, pointed at your own future. What you speak, you repeat. What you repeat, you believe. What you believe, you become. So your language must be guarded like your life depends on it, because it does. Every time you say, "I'm not good enough," or "I never get a break," or "Nothing ever works out for me," you are overdrafting the bank account of your future. You are sowing seeds of struggle into the soil of your tomorrow, and over time that language becomes your limitation. But here's the power in this truth. If your words have the power to bankrupt your life, they also have the power to build it. If words can tear down, then words can elevate, and you don't have to wait until your circumstances change to start speaking power. You speak power so your circumstances can change. You don't speak from how it looks. You speak from how it's meant to look, because language isn't just descriptive, it's creative. It sets direction. It writes code for your habits. It shapes your self-image. So when you shift your language, you shift your life's trajectory. One confession at a time. Let's talk about how this plays out practically. Most people are fluent in fear and beginners in faith. They can list everything wrong in their life with precision, but stutter when asked to declare what's right or possible. They've rehearsed their trauma more than their transformation. But if you want to build a future worth stepping into, you've got to reverse that. You've got to become fluent in forward motion. That means building a new vocabulary rooted in vision, not victimhood. It means saying things like, "I'm made for this," even when you're doubting yourself. It means saying, "I'm rising even now," when everything around you looks like it's falling apart. It means declaring, "I am a solution," when you feel surrounded by problems. Why? Because those words are scaffolding. They create the internal structure that your external life will eventually reflect. This doesn't mean you lie to yourself. It means you lead yourself. You don't ignore reality. You choose to interpret it through the lens of purpose. That's what powerful people do. They don't deny pain, but they don't let pain do the talking. They feel fear, but they speak faith. They see the odds, but they declare the outcome, because they understand that what they say is what they sow, and what you sow, you will surely reap. You can't keep speaking defeat and expect to harvest victory. You can't keep speaking small and expect to live big. You can't curse your journey and expect the road to rise to meet you. So, what are you saying when nobody's listening? Because that's where your future is being formed, not in public, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows, when it's just you and your thoughts and your declarations. That's where the blueprint is either being built or burned. That's where confidence is either being constructed or crushed. And if you want to truly change the game, you've got to become more intentional with every sentence, every phrase, every internal monologue. Speak like the builder you are. Speak like your words carry weight. Speak like every declaration is a down payment on your destiny. It's not about being loud, it's about being clear. It's about speaking with the energy of someone who knows they're planting something powerful every time they open their mouth. Because here's the thing, the future doesn't need your fear, it needs your faith. It doesn't need your silence, it needs your sound. A future without declaration is like a house without foundation. It will never stand. So start pouring concrete with your confessions. Lay brick after brick of belief. Frame the walls with focus. Install the roof with relentless repetition. And don't stop until the house you speak becomes the life you live. For the next 3 days, make every word count. Refuse to speak defeat. Cancel every phrase that bankrupts your potential. Audit your language like a millionaire audits their investments. Replace I can't with I will. Replace it's hard with it's helping me grow. Replace I'm overwhelmed with I'm overcoming. Because every sentence is either scaffolding or sabotage. Every phrase is either fuel or friction. Every word is either a brick in your future or a crack in your foundation. Choose wisely, and here's the best part. The compound effect of powerful language is real. Speak life long enough and you'll start to believe it. Believe it long enough and you'll start to live it. Live it long enough and people will look at you and call it a miracle, when in reality it was just a masterpiece built one declaration at a time. So say this now, I speak with intention, I declare with power. My words are building something beautiful. My mouth is my tool, not my trap. My language is my ladder, and I'm climbing higher with every word, because the future is listening and it's waiting to echo back whatever you say.